Is this what day is this?
It's Mail It In Friday.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
This is Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. Overdrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app. Your home smart speaker up on TSN Plus. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan live from the RBC Canadian Open, Hamilton Golf and Country Club. We are at the rink hole on 13. And Sam Burns just threw an absolute dart. Gary Woodland was up, and I think they were chanting Jerry?
They were calling him Jerry.
There might have been Jerry's.
He's a fan favorite. He gave all the guys, Svensson, Sammy Burns, and Jerry Woodland, they gave the kid golf balls autographed, and it was great. There was a long wait to hit.
They were on the deck for like 10 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long way, which means someone was up ahead of them. Absolutely
chopping
broccoli. What a vibe out here today, man. It is incredible.
The juice between yesterday and today is crazy. There's just an energy. It looks like people have been into the beers. It is a great vibe out here today.
The spirits are flowing. Everyone's having a great time. You couldn't ask for better weather, too, man. The weather is absolutely pristine. It is perfect.
It's perfect.
And you guys, usually there's a bunch of silly O-Dog chants. There was a lot of I love noodles and a lot of hazy
there
bees.
Wasn't. There was a couple.
There was a Strudwick
hazy.
for mayor chant,
I
and
heard
there
that.
was a bunch of different hazy bee and noodles chants. I loved it.
You guys didn't see me sneeze off the top. That's why I didn't have my headset.
I got my glasses on here. I'm just people watching all day.
I threw my headset and pressed mute, and I was over here sneezing.
Did you just sneeze on Mark Immelman?
No, I did not. I hope
you
not.
Just
I covered
sneezed.
my hand.
Mark Immelman's going to join us here in like 5 minutes, and you sneezed on him.
I didn't
good start.
sneeze in his direction or anything. I had my hand covered.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good, man. And listen, I got to remember the cameras on here because I can't get enough of this crowd. Like at the rink hole, it is incredible here.
Yeah.
I have my headset jacked because it's so loud. We don't have to worry about the players hearing us.
No,
it is so loud here. We got refs on the deck trying to pump up the crowd. This place is going bananas. It's awesome.
Yeah.
We just had, again, Adam Svensson, Sammy Burns, Gary Woodland come through. McIlroy's right around the corner with Nick Taylor and Taylor Pendrith.
We got a peek at him hitting a tee ball on 11 tee. And I don't know if you got to see the golf ball, but I did. It was exactly what my buddy described to me, taking a driver and airmailing it over that tree in the corner by a mile.
Yeah.
It was so impressive to watch.
Well, because he was on tilt on 10. It's a false front on 10, and he chunked a wedge basically up on 10, and it rolled all the way back down to him to the point where he walked about 15 yards. Like his ball hit the green and spun all the way back where
then
he
there
walked,
was a false front, and then it went down another one.
and then he almost missed his third getting up, and he missed the par putt, so he bogeyed. And McIlroy's still 2 under par, but right now it sounds like the cut line's going to be even par. Nick Taylor's got to move. But the big story today, Bob McIntyre, our boy Robert McIntyre, the Scotsman, right?
Your boy.
My boy Bob McIntyre, I've always been a fan. The lefty, he's feeling it. He's at 10 under. But Mackenzie Hughes went low today. Corey Connors went low today. Canadian flag sitting at the top. The leaderboard are real close to it. We love to see it. Two local boys, too.
And it's so crazy. Bobby McIntyre said today, he's like, I just kind of came out here and tried to freewheel. I got my dad on the bag this week.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe some kind of fun week, and he's dialed in and playing good.
I love those stories, man.
That's
They're great
awesome,
stories.
though. But it seems like when you just kind of say, you know what, I just want to have some fun and take the pressure out of it, take anything. He's familiar here, so he knows it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it should be. Now, I would like to see a few more Canadian content, but I mean, we're right there.
Well, Mike Weir's going to be coming through in a bit, too, right? Weirsy, last time I checked, was still 2 under for the tournament, even par on the day. That's a great story, man.
We need him to make the weekend.
Got to have Mike Weir into the weekend.
Yeah, we need him
You give
to
me
make the
Mike
weekend.
Weir and then Mackenzie Hughes and Corey Connors in contention, Bob McIntyre, McIlroy sticking around. You got Tommy Fleetwood in the hunt. We got some good stories cooking here.
Yeah.
But really, it's about the party. I mean, there's so many people here today.
God, people are having a good time.
And they're having a great time because you can't ask for anything better than this.
Yeah.
Like, beautiful weather. It is perfect here. And I'm not telling anyone anything they don't know. Wherever you are in the greater Toronto area, if you're anywhere in southern Ontario, there's not a cloud in the sky.
But how about a Friday night here?
Yes.
Like, that's what it is.
Well, there's like a big concert here, and it's going to be cooking here tonight.
Oh, yeah, man. It's go time tonight.
I just can't
Who are they
imagine
booing?
people like 9 a.m. all afternoon and then into the concert.
Right.
There must be some.
That's a Kirky move. Like,
Yeah.
these guys were boozing at 8:45 a.m.
Yeah.
and just flooring it right into the
They're
afternoon.
doing the wave right now.
Yeah, and I
Doing the
can't
wave.
support that. You know where I stand
I
on that.
support
I'm
it.
not sure I can do it. But what an afternoon we're going to have here. We've got Jason Strudwick will be on the show today.
Oh, really?
As we tee up Game 5 tonight. We keep talking legacy. And every night you roll it over, you start talking about a different opportunity at that.
Yeah.
This feels like a night tonight. If McDavid and Draisaitl land in Dallas, Texas and say, we're going to put on a clinic tonight.
With
I
taking it home with a
I
chance to win the series.
want to see that so badly because Florida, I don't know if anyone individually stood out for you last night. I just thought Florida did exactly what they did the first 4 games.
and
They're
that's
like,
what they do
we're just
every
gonna
night.
win.
You know, but that's
We're
Sam,
gonna win the
that's
hockey
Sam
game.
Bennett plays for keeps, man.
See him at
That
the
empty
end of the game losing his mind. It's like, dude, you're up 3-2.
Yeah. Like,
And
it
he's
just,
snapping on people.
I know, but he just fires in the net, little extra hit, like turns.
But what about
like,
the pass, though, to Forsling? Like, I love
I
that.
know.
That's one of my favorite Gretzky, Doug Gilmour play where they cut across the middle. It's kind of a no-look shovel pass.
Yeah.
God, that
Boy,
was an awesome play.
He sold it like he was like Forsling was over to his left and then just looked through the middle.
Awesome
and it was,
play.
And
He's an awesome player, man. Where he's come from Calgary, where it wasn't happy, it wasn't working, and
Yeah.
to what he is now for the Florida Panthers, man, is he a
Yeah,
good
but how
player.
many of those do they have? Like, Verhaeghe was a guy that was just in the system and
Yeah.
around, and then he gets there and he blows up. I wouldn't say Reinhart wasn't struggling in Buffalo, but he didn't take off.
No.
Like, as a number 2 overall pick, you're like, this guy has the capabilities of scoring 50 in the league. Wasn't
Yeah.
going to do it in Buffalo. He had to go there. Obviously, you see what Sam Bennett represents. Oliver Ekman-Larsson got bought out. They're like, come on in, man. Let's
He
see
looks
what you
damn
got
good,
here.
too.
Yeah, let's see what you got here.
But
It's just they've got it's not reclamation projects, but it's guys who have blossomed down there and
Well-
they've just fit and everything's working for them.
And how about the guts on Bill Zito? 115-point player. Something's got to change here. Sorry.
President's
Out you go.
Trophy too. President's
President's
Trophy. Not
Trophy.
interested in regular season success.
Yeah.
I love that
But
mentality.
it's like, Huberdeau has a career year, one of the, greatest seasons of Florida Panther history. It's like, you got to go. I'm changing the culture here. I'm changing something.
And it's just a perfect, brilliant move.
Right.
Like, of course you get Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Like, now it seems so obvious, but, like, Uyghur's a good player.
Yeah.
Huberdeau's still a good player. It just hasn't happened yet. This place is going
This
nuts.
is going nuts.
Because this one kid is getting golf balls from every single player coming through here.
That's awesome.
It is so great. But you know what's going to happen now? Some booze bag who's 50 is going to start yelling for one, too.
Yeah, I know.
But there's Adam Scott, who's got, what's that, taupe? He's rocking a taupe shirt.
My worry
There's
is
Tommy Kim. I love it.
That guy's been a man rocket around the tour for a lot of years.
Adam Scott, he knows what's up.
My worry is, what if one golfer's just so dialed in and doesn't want to give a ball? That's going to be
he's gonna get
troublesome.
booed. He's gonna get booed.
It's going to be troublesome.
It didn't happen immediately. I saw Sam Burns the last group through. Sam wasn't originally going over. That doesn't mean that he had any ill will or whatever.
Yeah.
He was talking with his caddy, preparing for the hole, and then he said, I better get over there.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, it's like, you better find a golf ball. The problem is if the caddy's sitting there, he's like, dude, we got 2 left. You pull what was it with Tiger at the U.S. Open at Pebble? Remember
That's
when
right.
they didn't have enough golf balls on
never
18?
enough balls, yeah.
You start handing golf balls around and you run out of seeds, that could be a serious, serious issue.
Yeah.
But it is an electric atmosphere here. Again, last time we checked, the cut line is at even par. There is a lot of Canadian content currently sitting, close to the top of the leaderboard. Mackenzie Hughes was great. Today, Corey Connors was great. Robert McIntyre was great. I feel like we need to start whispering here.
we might have to
because
just
it
kinda-
really did get low for Adam Scott. All right, there we go. We're good.
Yeah,
Okay,
we don't
so
wanna
we're live at the rink hall here, 13th tee, Hamilton Golf and Country Club, RBC Canadian Open. And we've had the pleasure of being joined around the table by a number of people throughout the week. And the train just continues to chug. Mark Immelman of CBS Sports joining us around the table. Mark, great to see you, man. Thanks for doing this.
So good to be with you guys. The atmosphere here is incredible. The golf course is sensational. Saw it for the first time this morning. So I appreciate the invite. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to see you. And I've heard that from some of the players saying that this feels like more of a unique course compared to a lot of other tour spots because it's a classical course. It's an older course. It's been around for over 100 years. And the greens, there's a lot of undulation. Do you see that?
Oh, absolutely. It's the first thing that jumps out at you, because I've always believed that undulation is the best defense for a golf course.
Sure.
And the only level place in the golf course is the teeing ground. You look off the fairway and all you see is rough and mounds and these eyelashes on these deep bunkers, which to me are almost like a half a stroke penalty if you get in there. Fairway bunkers, that is. Then you get to the greens and then it's just all over the show and false fronts everywhere. You spoke of Rory McIlroy and the mishap there on 10. So you got to have your wits about you. And as now the golf course dries out with a low humidity, the little breeze in the afternoon, all the sunshine, this place is going to be a handful over the weekend.
Mark, we see the people behind us here. They're clearly having a good time today. What do you think is the right mix of kind of fans for golf? I know there's the waste management where this year it seemed to get a little bit out of hand. You got these people around this hole. They seem to be having a great time. What would you like to see? Just like there's got to be a fine balance, doesn't there? Where it's not just a golf fan that's standing there not doing anything and there's some excitement. There's got to be a right mix, isn't there?
I'll tell you this. That's a great question and a cool observation, Jeff. At the waste management, look, it's an incredible event. But people go there for the party. They'll turn around.
This year it was like people were.
It was out of hand a little bit. But people will turn around to watch golf. Yeah, you have other fans that come in and they watch the golf while they're having a party. And I was walking past the rink hole this morning having a look at the course. And I made that observation to someone and they're like, it's right. And I just love this rink hole. In fact, a couple years ago at St. George's, I had the McIlroy group Saturday afternoon. And he played his way into the lead. And right behind the tee, there was the rink, but there was this big build-out where players could see the par 5 14th right in behind there. And Rory made birdie, and there was this tunnel. I still get goosebumps. There was a tunnel from 15 green up to 16 tee, I believe it was. And they are going bananas. And I'm walking there, and it is mayhem. And he gets to the tee, and they're going crazy, and I go and take my position like 20 yards in front of them. And I get the signal from my guy Craig that Rory's hitting 7-iron. And the crowd suddenly falls silent, and he hits this beauty up there about 15 feet right of the hole. And they go crazy again. And I walk up the fairway, and I turn around and I look at him, and he's coming towards me. And I'm like, nice shot, man. And you could see him kind of go,
he's breathing.
I got that over with. And that speaks to how cool the environment is, how it feels like real sport, I dare say. And just the vibe just even lifts the players' spirits and their emotions and their sensibilities as well.
With a guy like Rory and a lot of players that are cool, can you notice that when you are in tight with them? Like, okay, that one you could see he was feeling a little bit more butterflies as opposed to something else.
You can. Certain players will drop the anchor and kind of slow down. You can see the deep breathing, and you can see how they'll drop into the yardage book and really start to get kind of binary with numbers and try and remove emotion. And certain players like Rory will just go faster. They sort of embrace the environment, I think, and sort of get athletic. So you'll see players deal with it differently, but there's no doubt. Look, they're humans just like you and me, and they feel it just like you and I do. The difference is we hold a microphone and they hold a club, and they've got to hit a shot in front of all these people.
Absolutely. Mark Immelman of CBS Sports with us. You mentioned that you got the word what club he was hitting. Like, from a broadcasting standpoint, take us behind the scene there. Like, how do you find that out? Does the caddy tell someone, and then it like, how do you get the information when you're out there?
Caddy's got like hand signals, doesn't he? Two up or two down.
Yeah, if you're watching, I have an on-course crew that works with me. Craig, who's my spotter, and he stays close to the group because I'll be like, 25, 30 yards away, just close enough where I can sort of hear player-caddy interaction because that's what I have to reference, and then just far enough so my speaking doesn't bother them.
Right.
And then Craig will be close, and then the caddy will give signals. Like, that would be 5-iron, just 5 fingers. And 1 finger up is 6, 2 is 7, up until a wedge, which was a fist. And so you'll get signals, but you kind of have an idea, as you've been with the players for a while, and you've seen them hitting that, okay, from 185, that's Rory's 8-iron. So you're kind of going that way, and then you'll get the 3 fingers. Yeah, no, and then when they adrenalize, guys, it just gets stupid. I mean, there's been times when McIlroy, in fact, he had like 205 yards to the flag. Let's call it 195 to the front. And I look up and I get the signal from Craig, and he's going 4 fingers up. And I'm like, are you crazy?
Right.
Because this is 9-iron. And Rory flew this thing just short of hole high because of the adrenaline, because of the warm air and the ball's going far. So those numbers are variable. I mean, it's crazy what they do.
It's crazy watching Rory. He's really different than all the rest of them. And no disrespect to the other players, but you could just stand up there in the first fairway and you see guys walking by. And then this guy comes by, and it's not quite Tiger. Nothing will ever be like that. But it's almost like he's got the tour on his back. He's got what's happening off the golf course with the PGA Tour and his personal life, and then he can just kind of zone it in and focus and hit the shots. He's just special and different, and he's got so much going on, but when he steps inside the ropes, it's just, I got to hit this shot. He's really cool to watch. Like we just saw him hit a tee ball right here, and it's just different than everybody else.
He's a generational type player.
Sure.
You know, he's got the physical gifts. He's got a wonderful way, and I think maybe it's his family, of just kind of keeping golf the thing. And then the rest of it, as you say, gets compartmentalized. But, you know, he feels it too. I've talked with him after rounds where you can see he's like visibly, you know, up or down because of something that's happened. But all these guys do, all these athletes, they're able to kind of keep their head in the game. And when it's time to play, they play. And then when it's time to be a father, he's a father, for argument's sakes. And then when it's time to be the tip of the spear with the PGA Tour, he gladly accepts that role too, which is why at the PGA Tour we're also thankful for him and the role he took up.
Mark Immelman of CBS Sports. We're live at the RBC Canadian Open, Rink Hole, Hamilton Golf and Country Club. Mackenzie Hughes grew up right down the road. Corey Connors not far from here either. Last year, obviously, Nick Taylor was historic. I mean, it was just a massive story. Maybe the Canadian sports story of the year, certainly close to the top. That felt far-fetched for a long time, and then Taylor just said, no, we're here and we can win. And we were talking about this earlier in the week, like, you know, a decade ago, 12, 13 years ago, outside of, like, the window from when Weir was in his prime to kind of the connection until Corey showed up, Max showed up, Hadwin, Pendrith, there's other guys. It never felt like a Canadian was actually going to win, and they generally didn't win. But now
it's always great to see him top of the leaderboard.
It was kind of like, can we get some flags up there? That would be awesome. But now, you know, for Canadian golf, it's like these guys can win, they have won, and they're here to win. Like, Mac's not just here to have a good time, or Corey Connors. They feel like they can win this tournament.
You know, there's so many kudos that need to be handed out. I mean, the guys at Golf Canada are doing a wonderful job. These kids are coming out fast. They're talented. And to your point, they believe. And I feel like Nick sort of galvanized that thing a little bit for them. I'll say this. I was on the call with that group in the playoff last year. And at the end of the year, my on-course crew and I will always go out and we kind of have dinner, I treat them, and we revisit the year. And we're like, okay, what were your top 5 moments, if you will? And we saw some stuff last year.
Oh, yeah.
And resoundingly, that eagle putt, that playoff on the last that Nick made, was the top of the pile for all of us. And I've seen some shots in my career, but, you know, that going down and just the timing of it and the fans' response and how he wasn't just a golf champion, he was a national champion.
Right.
And I looked upon this and I still get excited, but I'm thinking down the road now with Mac and with Adam and with Taylor and Corey and Nick. I mean, down the way, boys, we've got a big event in Montreal.
Yes,
in the
that's
President's
right.
Cup, and look, we
South
can
Africa,
experience
we're all
it,
on the same team here.
So I'm like, you know, it's time.
Yes.
And it's time for these guys to take up the mantle and go, all right, we're going to lead you across the line versus the Americans. Because, look, they should have done it a few years ago in Royal Melbourne.
Right.
And then Charlotte a couple years ago was a bit of a misfire, but they made a valiant charge. These guys are ready now, and they believe that they can beat the Americans. And I'm like, okay, let's do it now. Let's do it for real.
Mark, a guy that's not here, and he's probably going to be playing in a couple weeks in Pinehurst, is Tiger Woods. Well, what do you think is mapped out for him in his future? Because for a guy that doesn't play, and with his injuries, I don't know what he's got in the tank. I don't know what he can do golf-wise, how much he could enjoy doing what he's doing on the course. What do you think kind of his future is? What is mapped out for him?
Well, what I think is this. Look, I know for certain I've bet against Tiger Woods in the past, and I've been shown up. So I don't do that anymore. Oh, there's Rory on the TV.
Guys, I just want to point out McIlroy's walking up here to 13. He's here with Taylor and Pendrith. So It's about to get louder than it probably ever has.
He's got a big
Mark.
smile on his face, too. I think he's taking it in.
Yeah, it looks.
You know,
what's his score? I can't see where he's at. He's at 3, so he must have birdied 11. Okay.
Wow.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Anyway, sorry, I cut you off there with Tiger.
So to Tiger, his hands and his hands are still the same. His legs are bad, and the legs are the engine of your golf swing. He's still got his mind. But the truth is, Father Time is unbeaten, and Tiger's well into his 40s. And these kids, they are young and they are fearless, and he was the inspiration for this generation of players.
Sure.
And so now they're like, well, our hero is still our hero, but he's fallible. So, look, he'll find a way to compete, but I just think over the long haul, it's a bridge that's just a little too far, even with his prodigious mindset.
Right, and I think that doesn't come up enough. Like we always talk about, his injuries and the car crash in particular it's almost amazing. It's a borderline miracle he's playing at all. But exactly, even if he was 100% healthy, never an issue, he'd still be 48 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that, I know what Phil did at Kiowa. That was unbelievable, but he was 50. Like even if Tiger was just in perfect shape, maybe he wins another major, but he's not running off 5 or 6 in his late 40s and early 50s.
Well, the thing is, too, is Rory's over one.
Can you call this for us, Mark? This would be great. What do you see here?
Well, the hole is about, what's it?
What about,
220 today.
220 today.
So for McIlroy, that's probably some sort of a hard 6-iron.
Ooh,
That's
he doesn't
flicked
like
over.
it.
That'll be to the left-hand side. That's a miss. Earlier in the round, he was fighting the blocks, and then you react from that, and you shut the club face down, and you pull one. So that's sort of the bugaboo with the golf swing right now, which is commonplace. But just to the Tiger thing, the problem for Tiger is he's Tiger and he plays in the big events.
Right.
In the big events, the signature events and the majors and stuff, the big-time golfers show up.
Yeah.
So he's got to beat all the gaggle of the world's best players. Now, it's possible, but if he had to play some smaller events perhaps, I don't know. But again, that's not who Tiger is.
No.
And he doesn't have the luxury of just kind of cruising off into the sunset. He's a supernova, so he's going to burn hot.
Right.
And I don't know when the end is.
Yeah, that's the ultimate question. Like, would he play on the Champions Tour?
I doubt it.
It doesn't seem likely, does it? But, all right, what do we have here? Pendrith. Can you give us one more here, Mark?
Of course. Well, he's probably, judging by the follow-through there, going with one longer club than Rory, just kind of feathering one in there. He likes to fade the long irons, and anything short and to the left of this green today is a bad idea. So seems like the fans liked it.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, we're waiting for a huge roar here. Like Taylor in particular would get this place rocking. I mean, Nicky's, what's he rocking? The orange today, or is that a red shirt? I guess that's a red shirt.
That's disappointing for a Canadian.
I know. I was going to say
It's got to be bright red, Mark. It's got to be bright red.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does. Okay.
I would say as far as iron players go in this group, he is the preeminent one. And if there was going to be a good shot struck, out of the 3 guys, it would be this man.
All right, let's see what he's got here. Oh, what do we make of the body language there? Not great.
Left
is trying to fade it back in there. I don't think that was his best strike ever.
Yeah, he doesn't love it. Not good, man. We jinxed these guys. We got to pretend they're not here.
you can tell right away from body language, right? Like the way he's standing there, the way he's leaning.
Jamie, he's seen so many guys hit golf balls. He probably does not need to even see it. Just look at the player. He knows where the ball is, what the lie is, and how the player's feeling.
I'm a golf teacher deep down, but I will say this. The way this golf course is beginning to play, I spoke with Stephen Cox, one of the rules officials this morning, and I said to him, Stephen, some of these hole locations are hair-raising. And he goes, well, the golf course was soft, and it's the only defense. And I was like, but this place is drying out right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Yeah.
And with what I'm seeing right now, you can see 3 guys there that are sort of on the wrong side of the equation, and you can see how the golf course is beginning to wear on them. Because you can hit a good shot and get on the wrong side of one of these slopes now, and then you all of a sudden having to work hard for par. So there's not a lot of mojo going on in that group, it appears.
No, it doesn't seem like it at all. I mean, Taylor's fighting to make the cut, and Rory's at 3 under, so he's pretty comfortable right now, but he probably wants to get to 5 or 6, right, going into the weekend.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Don't sweat the technique.
All right, we're live at the Rink Hall, Hamilton Golf and Country Club, RBC Canadian Open. What an atmosphere today. People are buzzing. McIlroy just came through. Nick Taylor, Taylor Pendrith. We just had Mark Immelman join us, and it just keeps coming, man. Laurence Applebaum, our good friend, the CEO of Golf Canada, joining us. This has got to make you proud, right? You build it up all year, and you guys have a lot going on with Golf Canada, but this is such a massive tournament, such an upheaval. There's so much time and effort that goes into it. Then you get a day like today and the payoff. It's got to be incredible.
Yeah, well, this is what actually makes me happy. It's like this black on black on black on black. I mean, it looks unbelievable.
It really does.
It's fitting on
Thank
TV.
you for that.
It's very
I came
fitting
in,
on TV.
I said, Jeff O'Neill or James Brown? I don't know what I got going on here.
Never heard that one yet, but I like it.
Seeing the boys, big source of pride seeing Taylor Pendrith and Nick Taylor, especially Pendy holding his own with Rory.
Right.
We just watched Pendy put on a stripe show for the last 4 holes. Irons off the tee, so smooth, matching Rory stroke for stroke. They didn't know each other at all previous to Pendy's win. And Rory was the first guy who came up to Pendrith at the PGA Championship, put his hand out and said, "Hey, way to go, way to break through." And Pendy walked away and was like, "I didn't know he knew my name."
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
We talked to Mac. I don't know when it was. Maybe Wednesday afternoon, and he had the sense where he was like, "I just can't start. I can't keep putting pressure on myself. I grew up 10 minutes from the course, and it's almost like this year of all the years." He said, "I just got to go out there and play," and that's what he did today. And he was dynamite. And finally, he just said, "I'm not thinking about it. Canadian home soil, all of it." And now he's dialed in.
Oh, it's spot on, Jeff, because I think Mac puts a huge amount of pressure. I mean, I think
It'd be hard not to.
I think he played upwards of 200 rounds here on this track, and so he comes out here, lots of friends, lots of family, probably squeezing the stick a little bit, and just says, "I'm going to let it go." And he lets it go. I see him inside having lunch, and he's like on the phone like a kid, just eating it up after he was 8 under, I think, after 14. I probably wasn't watching that closely. And to see him in hopefully the last group or 2 tomorrow is going to be super exciting here in Hamilton.
You're happy with the course that it's dried up and how everything's kind of. And we had Mark Immelman on. He was talking how the course and especially the greens were very tricky. Any feedback on that? You're very happy with things?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Jamie. Like, it's not my. It's probably not my strike zone in terms of. I just listen to all the experts. I'm more worried about the crowd and everything and how much merch we're selling and everything like that. But what I'm being told is the course has dried out super nicely from how wet it was earlier in the week. The greens here are the defense of the golf course. Great undulations. The greens were tough. Lots of movement, and I think that's what the guys are experiencing. But it has played like exquisitely. So that's a superb feeling for the Hamilton Golf and Country Club.
Yeah, they take a lot of pride in this place. Every course does, right? Like last year at Oakdale, their members and the executive staff took a lot of pride in it. The year before at St. George's, like it's a big moment for people that represent the clubs as well, right, when they get to host?
I think that is kind of the sentiment amongst the greatest clubs, some of the greatest clubs in our country, and they get to host a national championship, they get to host the PGA Tour, and they get a chance to, in so many different ways, for example, today one of the co-chairs of the tournament, of a member here at Hamilton, got to walk inside the ropes as an honorary observer. It's like being, feet on the hardwood at a Raptor game or at the glass side. It's a life experience, and it's amazing to have 156 of the greatest golfers in the world playing your golf course. So it's amazing.
Laurence Applebaum, CEO of Golf Canada, with us. So what are we expecting going into? We were saying, like, you got concerts tonight, you got concerts tomorrow. Some of these people have been flooring it since like 9 a.m. What kind of atmosphere?
Where is the concert? Is it on the property?
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's over on the East Course, the East 9.
Wow.
We had Loud Luxury there last night. It was a great vibe. Really, like, exactly what we've been trying to do with the RBC Canadian Open. Bring that young, interesting music scene. It's been amazing with SiriusXM doing it. People are getting going here already, Tonight's going to be big.
That's why it's Mike Weir coming up, Laurence.
Oh, you gave Jeff
I think he waved at me.
Jeff.
I think he acknowledged me.
He didn't wave.
I had my hand up first. You were looking the other way. My hand was up.
At
and
Laurence,
Mike
going,
made sure
"Hey,
to say
Laurence,
hello."
how you doing? Nice to see you." Laurence is there with 3 pigeons. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah.
You know what? Although Weirzy was awesome when he came on.
He was
the other day.
unbelievable. We had him the other
We had
day.
him
He
on.
was right in his element, and he's playing great right now too.
So
Yeah.
when he came off yesterday's round, I said, "Great round." He goes, "Did you hear me on OverDrive?" I said, "I did."
There you go.
Well, everyone seemed to tune in on that. There's a kid over there, Laurence. Well, the whole crowd is just so electric here at the Wrinkle. We had Mark Immelman on too, and he was just praising this because there's balances on tour, right? Where you look at different spots. Some are crazy rowdy, some are very kind of quaint and quiet. It feels like you found a really good balance here, where people are having a great time, but also
Respectful when a guy's hit.
Exactly, you have a good. It's exactly what you're looking for.
Thank you very much for saying that, because I think the team has worked really hard to find what you want to find when you come out to a sporting event. These people who come to the rink, they want that vibe. It's one of our best hospitality places because people want to have a party.
Right.
But it's not over the top. I don't think we crossed the line. We got to a place that's really good. And there's so many good places to watch golf through at the entire, 260 acres. So
Right.
Yeah.
Laurence Applebaum with us. So we were playing in the Pro-Am. Are you blaming Aaron Krolnick for us not being higher? Because I've been doing that the last couple of days.
Yeah.
He three-putted
He said he
18.
four-putted to lose, cost you guys the
Three-putted.
Pro-Am.
He choked on 18. He should have lagged up a putt. He would have been 4 for 3, and we would have rapidly moved up the leaderboard, and he couldn't do it.
So Aaron's lining up a birdie putt to put us at 14 and probably have a year where he could do a victory lap around TSN.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, it was a miss and a miss and a touch.
And a choke.
And then we got a new nickname, apparently.
Yeah, it's a choke. Unlike me a couple of years ago, I was 1 under through 9 at St. G's, and that really boosted my whole profile in the golf
did.
community.
There was a buzz about it.
That created a legitimate buzz, and I'm
Who
still
was
proud
it
of
that
that.
said golf shot to you?
Tommy Fleetwood
Tommy
last year.
Fleetwood said golf
Tommy.
shot,
Remember
too.
I chiseled a little wedge off 6 at
Golf
Oakdale?
shot.
He said golf shot.
No,
People don't need to know that, but they want to know
they
that.
don't. But that Hazy took a lefty practice swing. He didn't even realize that Tommy was watching, and he goes, "You took a lefty practice swing," and Tommy goes, "That one's better."
Yeah, that's concerning. It is concerning that that's part of my reputation as well.
It only took him one time.
It does feel like we need to whisper when these guys are teeing
Well,
off.
I
But I
will-
don't know if that's the case, Laurence.
It's not. I was down there. I was listening both in the car after, and then all here. That's Roger Sloan.
I love it.
So
Look at him getting the crowd going.
another great Canadian.
Look at he's firing up the crowd too.
That's
I love
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Roger Sloan is. There's two ends of the scale there. There's Weirzy, who's his nine PGA Tour victories, and there's Roger Sloan. He is grinding to keep his PGA Tour card. He's a great guy,
Right.
and doing it out here.
Well, here comes Mike Weir, which this is what's so cool about us being here is you get to see a true legend. We just had McIlroy come through. Now Weirzy. We'll know pretty quickly whether or not this hits the green and how people are going to react to it. I think it looks good. It feels
Yeah,
good.
it does.
He's showing it too, man. Look at him holding the stance.
Oh yeah.
It's a beauty for Mike Weir. It's a beauty for
That
Mike
was a bit
Weir.
of a Statue of Liberty
I
there,
like
right?
that play by
just
him.
So
held on.
So do you know a little of the story of what did Weirzy talk a little bit about the putting coach work that he's been doing?
No. We were talking more about the President's Cup and him just being able to play here and how cool it is.
So Mike joined forces with a guy called Gareth Broflewski, London-based guy, Irish guy, but London-based, and he has been working with a ton of LPGA Tour pros, a bunch of PGA Tour pros, including Nick Taylor. And Mike said he found something with Gareth, and so another great relationship between coach and athlete. And Mike is grinding.
Yeah,
and,
really.
and with Mike getting the putter going, I don't know what he got to now, but I think he's looking to make the cut comfortably.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still 1 under.
he's
He's
in
1
there.
under, so that would make him
The cut line's around even, isn't it?
It's around even
Just
at this
need- yeah,
point.
you
so
need to
he's-
make the weekend.
He's got to get home clean.
We're pulling for him.
Yeah,
though.
we're
That's-
pulling
we
for
want
Mike
him-
Weir.
Do you usually pick out one guy, Laurence, or you just I just want one of them to do well or be up there, or is it Mac where you're just it's kind of around his hometown? It'd be nice to see him do something special.
Yeah, I think that the guys that we've had a chance to play with a few of the guys, the three of us, and you sort of start to feel like that guy's got a week, or Nick was playing well, or Tommy, and we had Adam with us playing, and I actually thought Adam was in good form, and it just didn't happen.
Yep.
Maybe things didn't roll so well at the beginning, didn't have his clubs with him, maybe didn't get into a rhythm, but he's in a really good place, and I think he's going to have a next couple of good weeks. Mac's due. Like, I think that's the feeling amongst the guys. He's seeing Pendy win. Corey's just been perennially playing great. I think Mac wants to say, like, I want to go back. I want to go to Paris. We're 2 weeks away from the selection for the two guys who are going to represent Canada in the Paris Olympics. I think Mac's got a great shot. And I think Nick will grind it out through the end. But, you know, the turn back time story, I heard Graham Dillette talking about it, is I don't know where Hernsey got to, but to see Mike making the cut and a few of the guys really playing through. And even the young guy, Matt Anderson, you know, the top guy in PGA Tour Americas, he had 2 good days. He didn't make the cut, but he came out of it learning a ton, and it is the greatest gift that we can give our young pros is their first reps on the PGA Tour at the RBC Canadian Open. And listen, our goal is 30 players on the PGA and LPGA Tour by 2032. And we're well on our way, so we're going to keep working for it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Laurence Applebaum of Golf Canada, RBC Canadian Open, RBCCanadianOpen.com. How are we feeling about the weekend? We're roaring, we're chugging towards the weekend here.
Well, it had summer vibes. I mean, it really did have summer vibes out there. The weather cooperated so good. It's going to be an exciting weekend. Tonight concert, Our Lady Peace.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to be with Josh Ross tomorrow night, which they're both looking like they're going to be real successes. And just to see some great golf, really enjoy it. Enjoy the environment. Bring your family. It's really been superb out in Hamilton. So thank you guys. It's
thank you for having us.
I get it. I get it mentioned so much that TSN is doing such an amazing job on all platforms, but in particular the work that OverDrive has been doing. So thank you, fellas.
We're happy to be here. We love it. We look forward to it every year. So thank you for the hospitality. Thanks for having us. Good luck this weekend, and get back inside the ropes. What are you chasing? McIlroy down, Taylor down? You get some pretty good access there. Get out there and have fun. Good seeing you.
Thanks, guys.
There's Laurence Applebaum, CEO of Golf Canada. We're live at the RBC Canadian Open. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN Plus. Continues brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line of the final score. Jason Strudwick in about 20 minutes on the Panthers winning last night. The Oilers and Stars going at it. Game 5 tonight down at Dallas. Jays are back home and in action against the Pirates tonight. And some news on Alek Manoah. He has a right UCL sprain and will have an in-person evaluation with a doctor next week.
That's not good. That doesn't sound good. I think they bought themselves 2 weeks.
Enough where it's like it goes from that to it's shut down for 2 weeks, and then it just turns into you won't see him again this season.
Yeah. Sadly, that is the reality of modern-day pitchers.
Yeah.
They're hurt all the time.
I told you yesterday, or I had this thought yesterday, so if it's done, like let's just say it's done for the rest of this year, the timing of him after this season to the last time where he was a dominant pitcher on the mound, that's a long time for any professional athlete. I do not care about your age.
Right.
It's like your muscle memory, your mind, it's just how you could possibly return to that, it almost seems unlikely.
Yeah, that's what's scary for him and for his future. I mean, the reality of sports and life is that the Jays are playing tonight, and they're going to keep playing. And someone's going out to pitch every night.
Keep going. That's it.
Like that. The team can't wait. They won't wait. They're going to keep going. But yes, if you look back, last year was a complete write-off. I mean, it was really a disaster for him. So that's one full season last year. If he misses this year, if it's moving towards some sort of surgery where it leaks into next year, you're talking 2.5, 3 years of your career. And then when you return, people will remember the end. They won't remember even what you were your first couple of years in the league.
When you were an athlete like that and dominant like him, you remember going back to Yankee Stadium, him chirping at the bench, him chirping at Garrett Cole, starting an all-star game. People will only compare you to that.
Well, the other thing...
It's not like they have anything else. It's like Michael Jordan or any great athlete, and he's not Michael Jordan, but it's like when MJ made his comebacks, it was like you get compared to Michael Jordan that was winning championships.
Well, because you set the bar
That's
high.
right. So he only has the chance for people to compare him to the athlete that he once was. Anything else, they're going to say, well, it's never going to be the same.
Right.
The thing is, he doesn't have a 10-year deal.
That sadly is true as well.
So
financially, you're losing so much.
He's losing so much, but he's not to that next level where they had to lock him up to a long-term deal, and now the investment is there. They're like, okay, we'll stand by you for 2 years while God forbid, if he has something like a Tommy John or whatever.
And he's not like a wonder boy like Strasburg when he has hit his issues. Washington was always behind him. They were like,
first overall pick.
Yeah, his first year in the league, I think they put a pitch count on him and said, this guy's not going over that. And then he did ultimately have surgery. But everything was patience. They're like, we have full confidence this guy's returning.
Well,
but with Manoah, you just don't have that.
Look at Shohei Ohtani. He's going through it right now.
Yeah.
He's not pitching.
Shut him down for a year.
But he's still making $700 million. Now, he's a unicorn because he can hit. And he sells tickets.
Right.
But that's a good point, Noodles. Like that is the kind of darker side of it all, that you're pulling for the guy physically, you're pulling for his career, but financially he never made it big enough to make enough money to survive off that rest of his life.
Like the business side of it is he's not sitting on $100 million or $50 million or $50 million contract where it's like, okay, I could take my time, work my way back.
He's
I know
fighting
I'm
for his life, Jamie.
Well, if you look, he's on a starter salary. I think $780 or something.
Yeah,
whatever
he's
it is.
early
It's
into
still
his
very
career.
good money, but it's not. He's not set for life. Like this is his livelihood, and if he's, if you're out of sight, out of mind, and you're unable to make it back, that's a lot of money he's left on the table.
Absolutely. You see the City Connect jerseys revealed last night?
What is going on with this?
It's a baseball MLB
Dude,
initiative.
they're better than Detroit's. That's all I know.
I totally agree. I actually really like the Toronto one. I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of weird. You get the TD patch, which just sticks out so much, but you have to do that. TD's paid a fortune for that.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the color coding. I like the skyline, but I was like unaware of how significant this was going to be, to the point where they got Bautista and Edwin up here.
Yeah.
The whole team threw a massive party, like a reveal. They obviously feel like there's a big financial component to this. Like these jerseys are going to fly up the shelves. I don't know. I'm not jersey guy. The three of us aren't. Like it's not
but
something
there is
I'm
like freak jersey hat guy where it's like any new one, I gotta get it. You gotta have it.
This is the biggest buzz I can recall for a reveal, like of a uniform reveal, in a long time.
The only one that I can think of is the Bieber jersey. What was that smiley face? Or whatever the hell that was.
That was the
I thought
Leaf.
That was awful,
what the hell was? I don't remember the name of his company, but
isn't it Smiley or like
I know
happy or
Drew House.
Drew House. Thank you.
Drew,
See, Doogie's young enough to understand
he's
that.
20-year-old.
Drew
top
House.
turnbuckle.
That's
Doogie.
why Doogie is the best in the business.
Way to train him, Gatman.
Yeah, Drew, you're right. But that's the last one, recent memory.
Yeah, that's a good
where
point.
Where
yeah.
the Leafs came flying out, and it's kind of there was a yellow one, and there was.
Well,
that one was weird.
The whole point of it was you get Bieber involved,
of course,
and
big
younger
star.
people are going to want it. And those you see them all over the
time.
city. Like I'm
the
sure
time.
they made money on that.
100%. They
and
made
obviously
money on that.
MLB, Nike, the Jays, they feel like they can do that here as well. But I actually thought the Toronto one was pretty good. You mentioned the Detroit one. The Tigers were brutal.
Yeah.
Like who on earth signed off on
Every
that?
time I see something like that, I'm like, this is a big thing. They have this big reveal. There's people paid a lot of money to go behind the scenes and come up with something. And they all sat in a room and said, that's the one we're going to go
guy.
with.
See, people should be.
That's our guy right there.
I think the Blue Jays one looks fantastic. Like I think it flows nice. Yes, the TD patch, whatever. It's green.
But you got to have it.
You have to have it. That's a sponsor. There are jerseys sometimes where you're right. There's probably 20 people that sit in a room and design it, and they lay eyes on it where a model walks in or somebody and they're like, that's the one.
Yeah,
like I think the
have
Boston Bruins. Remember that like
Bearhead.
there's some bad third and
Just horrible decisions.
alternate
being made.
jerseys out there.
Yeah.
we
It's like
should
Andy
have a
Warhol.
top five alternate jersey or whatever worst.
I think it'd be tough to narrow it down to 5.
You think so?
Oh, there's been so many.
There's a 20 pack of garbage.
You think so?
There's a lot of horrendous uniforms out there at pro sports. That's why, like generally speaking, the classics are the best. Like the original 6 in the NHL, those are the 6 best uniforms.
Yeah, and
as far as I'm concerned, for the most part, there's been a couple of new
And we're
ones.
trained for them. We're trained
Right.
But
they're not over the top. They're just classy. They look great. They feel great. The color codes work. Look
I
at
thought
us.
the Atlanta
We're putting
Thrashers
everything together.
jersey stunk.
They were
Those-
terrible.
Like those
were
ones.
horrible.
Like the blue ones with the V or
I
whatever.
think I don't think there was anything about Atlanta that was good. Not one thing that was positive. Hour 2 coming up. Jason Strudwick will join us. Overdrive continues live from the RBC Canadian Open.